sure some of us here have heard that even before Pope Francis visited the Philippines, a few weeks before his actual visit, there was already this person, this actress actually, who had received a personal letter from Pope Francis. And of course, her name is Miss Rita Avila. Why? Why did she get that special letter from the Pope, even prior to his visit to the Philippines? Because some months back, prior to the visit, Miss Rita, who had written 3 books, took all her 3 books and sent those 3 books to the Pope. And one of those books was this book entitled 8 Ways to Comfort with Grace. And so she sent the book, personally signed, to Pope Francis, and Pope Francis received it and acknowledged those books. And so he sent a letter to Miss Rita, even prior to this official visit. And that book, especially 8 Ways to Comfort with Grace, is such an interesting book. Why? Because precisely it talks about her pain and her experience of being vulnerable in the light of the death of her son. Last April 2005, she had a miscarriage. So, kunan siya. Then, that was April 2005, and 11 months later, March 2006, Miss Rita became pregnant again. November 10, that same year, 2006, she gave birth. So, if you count from March to November, it's only 8 months. November 10, naluwal yung bata, she gave birth. But December 2, less than 3 weeks, what happened? The child died. It was discovered that the child had a congenital heart disease. So ang binigay na pangalan niya ay Elia Jesu. And imagine her experience. First, nakunan siya, and after that, naluwal na niya yung bata, pero in a few weeks' time, the child died. So what happened to Miss Rita? She went into deep, deep depression. And for a while, she did not want to go out of her house. But slowly, she was able to bounce back. And in some interviews, she even said, Lord, if Elia Jesu is really for us, I know you will give him to us. But just in case, if he is not for us, then thy will be done. So talagang she surrendered him to the Lord. And even sa operating room, before the child was sent to the operating table, said, I surrender him to you. And precisely, the child died. And it's interesting yung bonding nila, according to her, yung buntis pa siya, just to bond with her child, what would she do? She would sing to the child. And the song that she would sing would be, Ama Namin. So isipin mo, buntis mo. Ito mga buntis na. Kakanta mo yung bata. So that bonding. And that's why it was so painful for her to lose that child. So, but after a while, she was able to have this gift of resiliency. She was able to pick up the pieces of her life and to slowly stand up again and write 3 books, in fact. But one of those books was 8 Ways to Comfort with Grace. And this book is on her experience of her lost child. And when she gave these books to Pope Francis. Pope Francis received them and acknowledged them, and that is why, again, he sent that letter to her. And in that letter, we say na sinasabi ni Pope Francis, the whole point is, thank you for the books, I acknowledge them, I receive them. I know the pain that you are undergoing, and continue on with what you're doing in terms of healing, because that book, 8 Ways to Comfort with Grace, is on healing. And dear friends, there is that expression in English, yung tinatawag na vulnerability of loving. Vulnerability of loving. Ano ba ibig sabihin mo? What do we mean by vulnerability? Vulnerable. When you say vulnerable, it means easily hurt, easily pained. Bakit loving? Because when we love, then we open ourselves to being vulnerable. And that is why to choose to love eventually is to choose to be vulnerable. The most vulnerable people on the face of the earth are those people who have truly decided and chosen to love no matter what. In fact, there is this poster, the poster of a cross, and written under the cross, under the poster is, love even when it becomes painful, or love even when it becomes hurtful. And that's the whole point of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. It's not so easy to love. I remember what Father Ruben had said, or would tell us, because he would talk to couples. He was involved in the ME ministry, Marriage Encounter Ministry. He would tell couples, if you don't want to get hurt, stop loving. Sabi ng mga tao, how can you do that? How do you stop loving? Eh kung mahal mo yung tao, even if that person has hurt you. In fact, that's the paradox of it all. We hurt the most whom we love the most. And many times we are hurt by people we love the most and who love us the most. And that's the vulnerability of loving. And I believe that's the meaning of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. The Heart of Jesus. Imagine the Heart of Jesus, the infinite Heart of Jesus. Kaya the symbol of the Heart of Jesus, puso yan, pula, may cross, what else? There's light, usually may ilaw, but it's a pierced heart. It's a bloodied heart. Kung minsan pa nga, it's a heart with thorns. It's a heart. What does the symbol of the heart mean? That it goes on loving and loving and it does not stop deciding how to live. It continues to love no matter what. It just keeps on loving, even when it begins to hurt. And that is why this is a symbol of the heart of our Lord. Kaya may prayer, O Sacred Heart of Jesus, make my heart like unto thine. Are we courageous enough to pray that prayer? Kasi nakakatakot yung dasal. If we look at the statue of the Sacred Heart, do we want our hearts to be really like that? An enlightened heart, true, but a heart with a cross, that would mean suffering, pain, a pierced heart, a bloody heart, a heart with thorns. Do we really want that kind of a heart? And that's the symbol of the cost of loving. Because loving is not cheap. It has a cost, it has a price. And what is the price or the cost of loving? Being vulnerable, opening ourselves to vulnerability. And yet, precisely, like the Sacred Heart of Jesus, the Good Shepherd would also say, This is the kind of heart. I am the good shepherd. I will lay down my life for my sheep. Meaning, the good shepherd as leader, as shepherd, will also be vulnerable. And I believe this is true also with you as leaders. You are all leaders here. And I would like to believe that as leaders, we cannot but love. We cannot but help. Driven by the spirit of love. Do service. And in loving and in serving, sooner or later, we will get hurt. Kaya the point here is, like Father Ruben, if you don't want to get hurt, if you don't want to be criticized, stop serving. And yet, if we really feel that we are called, if we feel that we are really, this is our vocation to be good shepherds in our own ministries especially, or in the Council of Servants, or in the Board of Trustees, then we have no choice but to love. And in choosing to love, we choose to be vulnerable. That is why I believe the symbol of the heart of Jesus is so powerful. And again, that prayer of our Lord, Sacred Heart of Jesus, O Sacred Heart of Jesus, make my heart like unto thine. And I believe that was the experience of Miss Rita Avila. Ang sakit, no? Nawala ng anak, no? I suppose, ang sakit mo. Even though the child was only less than a month old, and yet may bonding na sila. Even when the child was placed in the incubator, kasi may mga swero na raw yung bata. Imagine, bata, may mga swero na. So may mga tusok-tusok na sa paa, at may mga tusok-tusok na sa kamay. So she felt the pain. Why did she feel the pain? Because that was her child. She decided to continue loving that child. And as servants, then din tayo. That's why the challenge is to keep on loving, to choose to love. But again, there is a cost, there is a cross. So in this Mass, as we celebrate First Friday, but also as we celebrate the Feast of San Jose, remember the vulnerability of loving. And as leaders, as good shepherds, we cannot but love, because this is our vocation. And yet, precisely, if we're so afraid of getting hurt, then maybe being good shepherd, or good shepherds may not be for us. And yet, that's the challenge. Again, if all of us in this chapel this evening can pray that beautiful prayer, Sacred Heart of Jesus, make my heart like unto thine. Amen.